Hey everyone, Kevin here. Got a session for you today on Foxify and their new funded application, which is going to be going public live for the first time tomorrow, Friday. Um, I am going to basically take you through what it is, how to use it, how to get started, and basically, hopefully, how to profit from it. So let's go ahead and just jump in. If you're new here, actually, let me give you a little background on myself to start with. I've been trading crypto for 7 years. So I started in early 2017. Um, Back then it was kind of just a lot of spot trading, but then I did find BitMEX and got into some perpetuals and derivatives trading. Um, anyway, I mean, I've been through three different ups and downs since then. Um, Also, I have recently in this year been doing a lot of trading with prop firms, mostly futures and specifically NQ, which is the Nasdaq's futures. Although I did trade oil for a little bit. Um, Again, through prop firms. So I have used and been part of at least five different ones, four futures and one um, kind of really scammy forex prop firm. That was actually a few years ago. Most of them have gone by now. Those were the really expensive ones. Today they're really cheap, but there's a lot of problems with them. And Foxify, specifically with funded here, is meant to address a lot of those issues that I and others have had with the prop trading industry. So that's kind of where I am. As far as my experience with Foxify, I've been around pretty much since their inception, which was about a year and a half ago, because I was in their uh, a company that was related to it previously, not really a company, but a project called MDB, which was a DeFi type um, project, which anyway ended up getting folded into funded in Foxify here. So without any further ado, let's jump right in. And if you are new here, you go ahead and shoot me a like and subscribe if you'd like, and we'll move right in here. Okay, so Foxify uh, has a few different aspects to it. Kind of at its core, it's a perpetuals trading platform that's Web3. So it's all smart contract based, and it's a DEX. So there's no KYC. There's no, I mean, everything is on chain. Okay, so no real centralized control over that particular process. So we have that, but we have a couple other things too. So let's just start by talking through the different things in Foxify before we jump into funded, which is the new thing. Okay, so I'm going to launch the app here. Okay, and you notice the first thing that it dumps me on is this trade page. So this is where you trade perpetuals. Okay, and I'll get into what you need to do that, how to set up your wallet here in 1 second. But just to cover some of the other things before we get into that they do here, on this Earn tab, they do have a token, the Fox token, and you can stake it. Here, they have two types of staking. This staking, which, let's see here, is just your single stake pool that has no entry or exit fees. You could put, and there's no like limits either. So what you put in here, you can immediately take right back out. And it's currently paying at an APY of 23.7. So if you held, let's say, 1,000 Fox in here for an entire year, you would I mean, this number is always changing, of course, but at current rates, you would then have what's 1,237 dollars or Fox tokens essentially, and then depending on what the value of Fox is at that time, that's how much money you would make there. Then they also have EB Fox down here, which this one does have a staking fee and an unstaking fee. It's meant for longer term holding, and it gets more revenue for rewards. So both of them get a share of fees from trading, basically trading fees. Portion, I think 30% gets pushed into both of these, and like the amount that gets pushed just depends on their total stake amount. So as you see here, the EB Fox pool has a little bit, like has about 70%, and single staking pool has about 30% if we were to add those up. So if you take 30% of the trading fees, then 30% of that would go into this pool and 70% of it would go into this pool. EB Fox also has a couple other mechanisms for it to earn income. One is rewards from the PLP pool, which the way that their perpetuals work here is you're actually trading against a peer LP. So the PLP pool is your counterparty. And so of course, if you have traders that lose their trades, that's paying into the PLP pool, and if they win, then that those winnings or earnings, I guess you could say, are coming out of the PLP pool. Okay, so they make obviously money because there's more traders that lose than win, but of that profit, portions of it get actually fed here back into EB Fox. And there's one other revenue stream. I don't actually recall what it is. But I'm in both of these pools, not with this account that I'm logged in here as right now. But as you see, this one has a much higher APY, and that's because of those two other income streams that get paid into as rewards for here. But just keep in mind that there is this 15% unstaking fee. So when you go to take it out, 15% will be reallocated. Oh, that's what the other revenue stream is. So of these staking fees, when people pull out, half of that 15% fee gets burnt. So this whole protocol is deflationary, and then the other half, I think, gets fed back into the pool. So it's split amongst all the people that hold in this pool. Okay, so there's staking. There's something kind of new that's coming down the road, which I don't think I want to cover just yet, but they are launching a new reward token for funded specifically. There are referrals. So if you want, it's up to you. But when you come in here, if you want to come in here to referral and go to As Trader, connect your wallet, and it'll then, here, I'll go ahead and connect my wallet now. You want to connect on the Arbitrum network. Okay, and as you see, I have a code I've already put in here. If you want to put this code in, APEX, I'd appreciate that. We get some discounts off from your fees that you pay, but also this is the reason you'd want to do this, of course, not just to support this channel, but also you will get 5% discount back on all your trading fees that you use in the perpetuals trading. And the way that comes back to you here is basically once a day, it'll send you USDC directly to your wallet in the amount of 5% of whatever fees that you paid that day. Okay. All right. And then there's funded. So let's kind of move on to funded. And let me just talk through this page a little bit that you see here. So to start your journey to $250,000 trades. Okay, so that's a big number, 250K. It's completely real that you would actually be able to, at the highest tier, be able to open a 250K funded trade, which means it's not your money, it's someone else's money. However, that's not to say that they're giving you $250,000 to trade with. Okay, so leverage is part of this. We'll get into those details as we go. But I did want to point out that with other prop firms, a lot of times they will have different tiers as well, like you have 50K account, 100K account, 250K account, so on. However, you don't really ever have that full amount in your account, right? Like a 250K account, has a drawdown limit of like $6,500. So if you go below that, then the account's gone. So you don't really have 250,000, you have 6,500. That's what you're allowed to lose. So one of the things that's highlighted, right here is that with Foxify, there is no drawdown limit. Whatever they give you as collateral for funding, you can lose all of it. Now, of course, if you lose all of it, then your funding's gone and, you're done. However, there is no point up until you get down to zero that you'll actually lose your funding in that way within each of the individual challenges. So I will show you that. Another key here is no deposit required. So this one it is a little subtle, or it's nuanced, because you do have to trade with your own collateral during the qualification phase. And I'll talk more about that in a second, but there is no fees that you have to pay that are like one-time fees. So like here it says, unlike other traditional prop firms, Foxify does not charge any application or one-time fees. So there is no application fee like for getting started. There is no qualification fee, or a lot of what the prop firms do currently is you pay the initial evaluation fee, and then once you qualify, then you have to pay like another fee to get started up, and that's either a monthly fee or some of them like offer lifetime fees now, which are a lot more expensive, like $300, $500. And it's basically to set up your supposedly funded account. Of course, that account is not actually truly funded. It is just a SIM account that's using SIM money. So we'll get to that here in a minute. So the next thing I'm kind of working backwards here is no paper trading. Real trading from day one, trade top crypto pairs, verifiable on chain. So unlike those prop firms that are using SIM money, which is, it's just like a centralized anything, which like a bank, it's a database. They say you have money, now you have money. Okay. Or like a centralized exchange. All your account is a number in their database. In this case, we are actually live on chain. You can go on the chain and see both your collateral that you're using, and then once you get funded, you can see the funded collateral, and you can see that it's real USDC that's locked in the smart contract. It's not SIM money, real money. So that way that you will always be able to get paid out too, because the money is already, like as you are earning it by winning trades, it's just accumulating in that smart contract, and you can see that USDC right there. Now, that has a downside, for Foxify, which is they can only support funding the number of traders that they have liquidity for. And so in these, early days, that's probably a lot more limited than once they get launched and they, have much bigger funding and profit streams and so on. But it's real money. So when they fund you, they have to actually purposely allocate that money into that account. And by they, I mean the smart contracts, not a person, because it's all handled automatically. Okay. 80% profit split. So basically once you're funded, whatever profits you make from their money, you get to keep 80% of those profits. 20% goes to them. That's sort of their incentive to actually fund you, and to also look for and find the best traders. And then here, funded within 7 days. So currently the initial qualification funding round is 7 days long. You need to bring your own $400 of collateral, and then you meet different KPIs as you go through those 7 days. You retain 100% of the profits that you make, but you also retain 100% of the collateral that you are using. So let me give you a couple of scenarios. Let's say you start with $400 and you turn it into $500 in that 7 days. That $500 is completely yours. You get it back. It's not, the $400 is not a fee that you're paying to Foxify. It's just collateral you're using to trade. If you were going to take that $400 and go trade it on any other platform that was not giving you any funding, it'd be the same. You'd be using your collateral, which of course you can lose. So another scenario is that $400 over the 7 days, trade just didn't go your way, and now you only have $300 left. Well, at the end of that funding round, you can take that $300 out. It's 100% yours. Now, you have lost $100, but that's because of your bad trading. Anytime you do trading, there is a chance that you will lose. So yes, you have to start with $400. I know there's been talk about either having other different types of evaluations and qualifications that use either more or they use less. But for right now at launch, it's $400 in USDC. Okay, and that's 100% yours as well as your profits. Okay, now let's jump over here and talk about the rules, and then I'll actually demo how to get started here and fund your account and so on. So with the rules here, maybe let's see, do we need to zoom? Ooh, that's gonna maybe be too close. Here we go. So you notice down the side here, we have different levels. You have the qualification level, and currently then they have 3 levels of funding beyond that. So in qualification, you're using your own collateral. So that this $400 that you see right there is actually provided by you. But everything else down that collateral, the 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, that's collateral that's provided by them. So if you pass qualification and you then have a silver account, then they actually will provide into your account 2,000 USDC for you to trade with, and so on. With gold, you get 5,000, and platinum 10,000. Now to the left and right of this column, you have 2 more here. There's minimum collateral in the trade and maximum collateral in the trade. So you notice, like in qualification, if you're using their prop platform or their perps platform just without funded, just because you're trading perpetuals, their minimum trade is actually $10, and I think the minimum leverage they support is like 1.1. So very low. So that's what if you're new to trading, I'd suggest using the platform, using those very low amounts to get started. You're not going to make a whole lot of money, but it'll allow you to become familiar with their interface. And just if you're completely new to trading, new to leverage trading to begin with as well. Okay. But once you're in qualification, the smallest trade that you'll be able to take is using $100 of collateral. Okay, I say dollars, it's USDC. And also the minimum leverage that is allowed when you're in the funded kind of side of the application is 10x. So you'll be placing a $1,000 trade as a minimum. And as you see here, as the maximum would be 400, but it's actually 400 times their maximum leverage. So I'm not sure if it's different for the different, I don't think it's different. I think they're all 50x. So 400 at 50x is what, $50,000. So that would be your maximum size trade. I wouldn't suggest you start there unless you really know what you're doing. Okay. Now over here, you can kind of see that there's KPIs that you have to meet throughout these days. So where it says period right here, that's the number of days that are in the challenge. So it's for qualification, it's 7, and then it gets longer. So in silver, it's 15, gold is 20, and then 25. Within that period, so let's just talk about qualification for now. Within that 7-day period, you have to have 5 active days. What does that mean? That just means that you have to have opened a qualifying trade. And don't worry, it won't let you open unqualified trades if you're in funded. So, minimum 100 in collateral, 10x. So you have to do 5 of those. And the way that it counts is whatever time of day you start your qualification challenge, the next 24 hours is considered day 1. And then the next 24 hours is day 2. And so on. And on the dashboard, there's a countdown timer. So you'll see exactly like which quote unquote day you're in. So it doesn't go by like the sunrise, sunset, those days. It goes by 24-hour segments from when you started your challenge. Okay. So you only have to have 5 of those have a trade in them, and it only has to be 1 trade. It can be more, but it has to be at least 1. And then you see minimum number of trades. So over that 7-day period, you need 8 trades. So at least, one of those days, you're going to have 2 trades. Or you can just like fit a bunch of them into the 5 days that you're trading. So you would have 3 days then that have 2 trades at least. Or maybe you just do 4 days of 1 trade, and then one day you do a lot of trading and you do 4 trades in that one day. And however you want to do it, you need to get at least a minimum of 8 trades. Um, but there's no like top limit. You could trade it as many times as you want above that. Okay, so there's that. And then here we get to the performance promotion here. 115%, that's what you need to end up with. So at this level, you start with $400. 115% is $460. So you start with 400, you have to end with at least 460. Okay, so you just need to make $60. It's not really that much or that hard to do, given all the leverage that's available to you here, and you have 7 days to do it. Now, you see there's some other things here. And by the way, like it shows here, this profit share in qualification, it's 100%. And then once you're funded, because remember that 100%, that was all your money to start with. So you get all of it back plus any profits you make during qualification. Once they are the ones funding you, then your profit share is 80%. So like in this case in silver, you start with $2,000 of their collateral, and let's say you turn that into 2,500, you would get 80% of that 500, which is 400. So you get $400 that you're able to take out. You can't take out the 2,000 because that wasn't your money to begin with. That was their funded money. Okay, but you get 80% of the profits. Okay, now you notice here too, there's some other stats like that. To be promoted from silver to gold, you actually need 125%. So it's a little bit more, but you also have more than twice as long to do it. You have 15 days to do it. The same with when you go from gold to platinum, you need 125%. For this maintain funding, it basically works like this. Once you're funded, as long as you finish above where you started, so like let's say you start at $2,000 that they funded you for silver, as long as you finish the time with at least still $2,000, so you didn't lose anything, then you may be demoted, but you're not done. So if you actually finish with less money than you started with, then like you just lose funding and you have to start all over again through a new qualification round. Okay, but if you finish somewhere between 100% and 115%, then you just get demoted. And I think this is listed down here at the bottom. Yeah, under qualifier levels here. There we go. Okay, if you go below 100% collateral, you lose your funding. There's no payout. Obviously, there's nothing to pay out anyway because there's no profit. 100 to 115, you get demoted, but you do still get to keep 80% of those gains as long as you adhere to the other KPIs, like the number of times you trade and so on. Okay, so by demoted, that means obviously if you're only at silver, getting demoted to qualification is kind of the same thing as blowing the account and losing funding. But if you're at gold, demotion only takes you back down to silver. And if you're at platinum, it takes you to gold. If you make between 115 and 125, you get maintained, which means you stay at that same level for another qualification round. So you get to stay where you are. Now, obviously, this next time around, actually, I believe I haven't finished my silver yet. I think I'm like 3 days from completing. No, actually, maybe it's more like 6 or 7 days. About halfway through my silver. But I'm pretty sure at the end of that, even if you, let's say, finished at 120, so I missed the 125, you don't get promoted, I think you could still take out 80% of that 20% of profit that you made. And then you get maintained at that level. Okay, or you can roll those profits into the next round if you want and just have more collateral to start with. But just so you know, if you do that, then your like the amounts that you have to make also go up. So like for instance, here it was silver. If I start with 2,000 collateral, to make 125% of that, that's $500. So I have to get to 2,500. But if I start this round with $3,000, now I need to actually make more. It's, now I have to make, get to 3,750, right? So just keep that in mind. when you're rolling in. And then, of course, like if you make 125% or more, then you get promoted to the next level. At the moment, there is nothing past platinum. So once you hit platinum, you just need to keep making 115% as you go. And at the end of each challenge session, you could take out the profits, and you get 80% of those. 20% goes back to Foxify. Okay, so those are the rules. Um, Also, there is one new metric that is being added prior to the public launch that I just read about this morning. They are adding a minimum win rate KPI. So, it's pretty low. It's like 35%. So you just have to make sure that you are winning at least one time out of every two times you lose, basically. Um, so however many trades you make, just what they're trying to do is to stop people from doing open and closed trades where they end up losing them um, just for the fees. So and there's probably, I've heard that there's ways that you could game the system by doing weird hedging strategies either between accounts or in the same account. I don't know. I've thought through all those scenarios. I haven't been able to come up with anything. But anyway, the main thing is that there is a new metric that's being added in here, but I don't think it's going to be anyone that's actually hitting these profit targets is not going to really have an issue with meeting 35% win rate. Okay. All right. So let's talk about what you need to get started here. So to get started, we're going to need um, a Web3 wallet. And like I had mentioned earlier, this whole platform is on the Arbitrum network, which is an Ethereum layer 2. And so for gas, it uses Ether, or Ether. Um, it's actually it's the same. Some people call it ArbETH because it's Ethereum on Arbitrum. I think that's confusing. It's just ETH. Like that's what it is. And yes, it has to be on the Arbitrum network, so you need to bridge it if you have it on a different network. Okay, I can do a session on how to, get your Ethereum and your USDC onto Arbitrum if needed, but I'm not going to cover that here because a lot of people already know how to do that. So I'm starting with a wallet that already has. I've moved about $20 worth of ETH, 0.008 ETH, into here, and looks like a little over 400 USDC. I swear I only typed in 400, but that's how much it sent. Um, so this is the minimum of what you need in your wallet to get started. If you have more of either, that should be fine. And as far as like, is this going to be enough to cover gas fees? It should, for at least for your qualification. I'll tell you, the Arbitrum network this week has been pretty crazy at times with gas, and I would just suggest at those times when gas is excessively expensive that you just not trade. Because when I say excessive, let me tell you what I mean. Let me see, what is this site? Okay. Here's an address for you if you're not familiar with Alracle. So it's alracle.info/arb. By the way, they do have a nice browser extension that if you want to install one, you can have it right there. But as you notice here, the Arbitrum network, I'm going to go to a 10-minute, almost always, like its base gas fee is 0.01. It's like super low, and there's no priority fees either. And as you see, like right now, it's a great time to trade. So 0.01 Gwei, 01, 01, instant, also 01. So they don't like use a priority fee. Um, so I would just leave your transaction set to fast. Sometimes this one does go up a little bit because depending on your wallet you're using, it'll calculate this one by the previous block's highest paid gas. But it's almost always 0.01. And as you see here, all pretty low. But you notice that we had a few times today where it spiked. And look at what it spiked up to. This one spiked up to zero point 0.4. So that's 40. It was 40 times the normal price for gas there. And normally, like all the transactions you'll do for Foxify here are going to be like a penny, or like at most, like 30 cents, 40 cents, something like that, very low. But when you multiply that by 40, that actually is kind of like Ethereum, price gases on the Ethereum chain. But here, I want to show you something. When this past weekend, so I need to probably switch to bigger time frame here. All right, let's see. When we had the big crash, all right, maybe it's not going to give me all the data back to it. Okay, I guess it won't. So this Monday, so 4 days ago, we like Bitcoin was crashing, and we thought we were going to World War III, and Japan bank decided to crash the world economy. All that stuff happened, so like everyone was like selling stuff. At that time, this gas peaked out at $6 or 6.0. So it was 600 times the normal fee on the Arbitrum network. And I didn't even look at what Ethereum was, but I'm sure it was out of hand, out of control. Okay, so basically, I want to say that 99% of the time that you're using this, the gas fees are going to be like so low that you won't even notice them. They're like 1/10 of a penny for this, maybe 4 or 5 cents for that, those kind of fees. But every now and then, when stuff gets moving and people really start clogging up the network, it'll spike up, and you probably want to either avoid those times to trade or just have a lot of ETH in your wallet to make sure that things get through. Because the last thing you want to do is get into a trade and then not be able to close it because fees have gone sky high. Okay. All right, so back to here. I have everything that I need. So what you're going to do is to start your challenge now. If this button may not appear for you, because right now we are still technically in the private beta. I've had this wallet whitelisted, so mine says create and fund. Yours may not. It might say, sorry, we're still in private beta, only whitelisted wallets, and yours isn't one of them. So you'll just have to wait. But starting tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern, I believe, is the time that they're doing the public launch, then you won't have to be whitelisted. Everyone can come to this page, connect your wallet, and you'll be able to hit this create and fund. Okay, so I'm going to hit create and fund. Notice it says here my minimum deposit's 400. So I'm going to deposit 400, which will leave 23 cents in my account. I could just do it all, but I'd rather just do 400. So I'm going to hit create and fund. It's going to bring up my wallet for me to approve this transaction. So I will do it. Okay, and now all right, so there's actually multiple steps there. So I have to do that one, and this one I have to do, it's basically approving the contracts so that it can take the 400 from my wallet. And you notice here, I like that they actually are only requesting the amount that I said here and not like the infinite amount. Okay, so I will approve $400. And then once that transaction clears, now this changes to fund account, and I can fund my account. Okay, so that first transaction actually was creating my trader account. And let me do this first, and then I'll explain to you what that is. All right, all looks good. So here's an example of like this transaction where I'm sending the $400 on Arbitrum. It is actually costing me 0.00 0.08. So a little less than a penny for this transaction. Okay, so again, back to that first transaction. What actually happens when you open a funded account is it creates a trader account for you. So it is basically a smart contract that is created on the Arbitrum blockchain that is only for your use. So my wallet now, that is this wallet that's right here, this is my like master wallet, if you will, and it is connected to this trader wallet, which is what's going to be used for my funded journey. Okay. Um, and and you'll see later why there is a distinction between the two, because I can still trade with like on the normal perps part of the platform with my regular master wallet, and that's not part of my funded qualification. That's just me trading perpetuals. But if I switch a slider to funded, then instead of using that wallet and its assets, my big 23 cents that I left in there, it'll be using my funded um, wallet, if you will. So that contract account that got created, which now has $400 or 400 USDC in it, and later, once I qualify, it will have all of the money that Foxify funds me for. So when it puts $2,000 in that smart contract, I'm able to trade with that because my wallet's the only one that can control that smart contract as far as how it trades. However, I can't just like take that $2,000 out. So it's not like they're just giving me 2,000 USDC into my main primary wallet that I have full control over. It's being put into the smart contract wallet, which is what just got created. Okay, so let's talk through the dashboard here. Okay, so I know that this may change a little bit between now and tomorrow, or like maybe in the next week, because they are. I know they're making some tweaks, especially between now and the launch tomorrow morning. So, like this top part, definitely, like I don't think they have these four boxes connected up yet. They may be by tomorrow, or they may not be. This rank right here, let me just refresh this page because I think that should actually say qualification, right? So this lets me know that I'm in qualification. If I had silver funding or gold funding, it would say gold or silver or platinum right there. Okay. Gives me my KPIs down here. And like I said, they've added that new one for win rate. So that's going to get worked in here somehow, somewhere. But it tells you the days you've been in the challenge. And you notice that my challenge started 3 minutes ago based on the countdown timer here. This cash out rollover basically means like at the moment, when I get to the end, if nothing else changes, I'll be able to take $400 out. Remember, that's the $400 that I just put in. So that's like 100% my money. So I can take that out at the end. Okay. Now, if I trade and I lose some of it, then obviously this number is going to go down. Okay. It tells me how much collateral is currently in my account. So 400, and it tells me that, this is my target, 460. So I need to work towards getting 460 here. So we're first day in the challenge, 0, 5 days active because I haven't done any trades yet. 0 of 8 trades, and my P&L is 0 of 15%. Okay, and it's telling me here that based on what I started with, which was 400, my minimum position is $100 collateral, and my maximum is 400. And that's why I didn't want to push in the 423 cents, because then like this would be 1/4. It'd be like my minimum collateral would be $100.06 or something like that, which I don't have to deal with. Okay, so that's that. Again, you can get, if you forget the rules, there's the rules. Here's the challenge. There's also documentation that you can get to by clicking on this button right here. And I think we're good to go. Let's do a trade here maybe. I'm kind of looking down here because I just remembered that I did have actually a trade open in my other funded account at present, and it looks like it's actually in the red, unfortunately. But Maybe it'll come back around. Okay, so I'm going to hit this trade button. Whether you hit this trade button or this one up here doesn't really matter. They take you to the same place. Okay, but let me call your attention to, I'm going to refresh this page because I see a few things that look a little funky on it. Okay. Also, I should mention that my browser that I'm using here is Brave, just because that's what I use when for all my crypto stuff. That's like I do use Chrome and other browsers too, but I don't have any uh, crypto wallets attached to those. So that keeps me separated from all the weird stuff out there on the internet, and like not letting them have access even by accident to any of my crypto stuff. Okay, but because this is Brave, sometimes it renders a little bit different. Okay, what is this doing here? Get started on Foxify. I'm gonna close that because I'm not gonna do that. Basically, though, right now, where it says funded right here, there's this switch is grayed out. So it's not turned on. That means that what I'm looking at here is my actual wallet, the wallet here that I've connected in this wallet that ends in BA6. This is the wallet that I'd be trading. So if I were to open a trade right now, which it won't really let me because I only have 24 cents in this wallet, that's where the trade would go. Okay, but if you want to trade your funded account, then you have to make sure that this is checked. So if you click up there, then you notice it moves the slider over. This kind of turns orange, so it like stands out, and you can tell. And you notice now my available balance is not 24 cents, but it's 400, because that's what is in my trader account. Okay, so if I open a trade now, it'll be in that account. You notice too that it set the leverage to 10.1 here, whereas before when I had this off, my leverage was set to 1.1. So when you're using your funded accounts, the minimum leverage is 10.1x. And also the minimum trade here in qualification, because I started with 400, is 1/4 of that, so it's 100. So if I put 100 in here, then I can, like, this lights up and I can go through this process. But if I were to like put 50 in, it tells me that my minimum order is 100. Okay, but again, if I turn this off, different error, insufficient balance because I only have 24 cents. But it would let me actually do this trade if I actually had that collateral in my account. Okay, so not that big. So I'm going to set this to the minimum collateral and minimum leverage because we're just demoing here. I'm going to go ahead and approve USDC here. So what I'm approving is I'm giving the, like, by proxy, the wallet, the funded wallet, rights to like move USDC out of my wallet. So in this one, it did default to the infinity amount, and it makes a little more sense because, like, I could set this to 100 and it would work for this trade, but then, like, if I win, then I have more money in my account and I might want to continue to increase that. So you don't have to keep this set to the maximum amount, but you might want to have it set, to something that is bigger than what you currently have in that account. Now, actually, you know what? This is approving it for my wallet that has 24 cents in it anyway, so it's not going to really matter. Okay. All right, so fine. That's not actually the wallet that this is going to come out of anyway. So we have funded checked. We're 10x leverage. We've got, we're doing $100, which is 25% of the 400 in my account. I'm not sure if I need a long or short here, so let's do like super quick TA here. I'm just going to say we're going to go down. We're going to go short because that's just what my bias indicator that I've written myself that takes into account other things is currently set to, and it is actually at 0. Even though the current candle is going up, it's okay. We're going to go short. I'm not really concerned if I lose this or not. So anyway, pick short. We can do market orders, limit orders, these trigger orders. I'm not sure that trigger orders are actually working yet. I think this is a to do. So those are like stop orders or conditional orders or what else? There's a lot of names those go by. But the limit orders do work if you want. If you know a particular spot you want to wait for it to come up or come down to. I'm just going to do a market order so that we can get in the trade right away here. So I'm going to short. Say, yep, all that looks good. Notice it shows me the fees here. So the fees for Foxify are basically, they're the same as GMX and other dexes. It's 0.1% in both directions. So to open the trade, it's 0.1%. And when I go to close the trade, it'll be 0.1% of the collateral amount. So you notice what it did here was it took my $100. It's taking the fee out. And so it's going to actually open a 98.98. Use that as the collateral for the trade. So rather than taking the fees out of the other $300 that I'm not putting in the trade, it takes it out of the collateral that you are actually adding to the trade. So the trade will actually end up being slightly less than that. Okay. Do that. Got to sign and approve it. Super. And here we have it, the position opened. Now, if you want to see it on your chart, let me remember where that setting is. I think it maybe is up here. Click on this little corner icon up there. And yeah, right here, show open positions. If you turn that on, then it'll show you where your position is on the chart. Okay, so we're in a loss now here. It looks like it came down just far enough for us to open the position, and then it started bouncing, of course. But like I said, it's okay. We're just demoing. All right, so a couple things to show you down here. Shows my open position. We're short. Here's the size, a little bit less than $1,000, because remember we're at 10.1 leverage and we did $100, but which actually became 98.98 because of the fees. Notice there was, for this amount and for the number of people trading right now, there was no borrow fee. There was 11 cents taken for the daily borrowing fee. What basically, I wouldn't even worry about borrowing fees. They're so small compared to the actual trade open and close fees that you won't even notice them. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't worry about those too much. So here's my margin. There's the entry. Here's my liquidation price, which is way up here, 64,000. So if I left this open, it would get liquidated right there. Because my leverage is low, it's pretty far away. All of the leverage here on Foxify is isolated leverage, not cross. So if this went all the way up to that almost $65,000, it would be liquidated, but it would only take that $100 that I put in as collateral for this. It wouldn't touch the 300 that I did not put into this trade. Okay, so it's not like cross. It doesn't work that way. Here it shows me my P&L. This, I think they're evolving this as people give them feedback as to what makes sense to them and what doesn't. So if we so this 97, that's the net value, but this P&L, it's telling me I'm at negative $1 basically at the moment. If you mouse over it, it'll give you a little bit more information. And you notice that the P&L that it shows here is 40 cents, and out here it's $1.40. But if you look down at the P&L after fees, then they're actually that's what it's showing me out here is P&L after fees. Okay, so that makes sense in a way. That's like kind of nice. It's a little bit more honest, saying that if I were to close this right now, your P&L, you're not just going to actually be losing this, you're going to be losing that plus the 99 cents that it will take to close this trade as well. So you notice here, though, even though the price is below where my entry was, it's still saying that my P&L is losing 50 cents. And that's because it's including the dollar that I'll have to pay in trading fees to close this trade. Okay. However, remember that it already took $1 from you before, which is why the margin that's in here is only $99 instead of $100. So just keep that in mind, that if you really want a trade where you are completely break even, where you have just as much money as you started with and you end with, then this actually has to be 99 cents in profit. So if we get this to 99 cents in profit and I close it, then we'll be break even. So nice that we see we're going in the right direction now. All right. So that is that. Let me see my other position. Oh, my other position is only down $50 now. So that's coming back in. That'll be good. Let's see. Next thing I want to talk about. I mean, let's just talk about other things. If you're the type of person that likes opening hedge trades, you can do that. So the way that this works is, let's say here I'm short. If I open another short, it'll just add whatever I have opened here into this short. So if I like short again right here, then my average entry will be somewhere in between, like right here. And I'll have one position that's actually using $200 of collateral instead of $100. However, if I open a long, then I'll have a second row down here that shows both the BTC short and the BTC long. So they don't automatically cancel each other out like they do on some exchanges. It'll actually hold both the open or the short and the long at the same time. You have to manually close them. Okay, so there's that. Also remember that there are other instruments. At the moment, there's only these 5, but I know they're going to be adding more soon. So we have BTC, ETH, ARB, BNB, and Doge. Wow, surprising. ETH is the big winner today. Okay, so you can also, if you have, let's say short BTC, long ETH, and do whatever you want. You can, as long as you have the collateral for it, you can open up as many positions as you want. Now you notice here that I'm now in profit and enough into profit that if I were to close it, it would cover my fees, and then I'd also have like $2.30 profit. Remember, my goal is 60, but I have 7 days to do that. So I'm going to actually go ahead and close this. So when you close it, you put the amount in here. I'm just going to click max. And then this is going to do a market close. So I'll hit close. And then you approve it. Okay, perfect. So as far as, you notice that this is a little bit clunkier than like trading on a centralized exchange, because you have to approve the transactions on the blockchain. However, do remember that this is on Arbitrum, and Arbitrum produces 4 blocks per second. So as far as the delay from the blockchain is going to be super minimal. Of course, like on my computer here, I'm like recording things, and like there's a lot of stuff going on my PC right now. So of course that's what makes it was a little bit slow bringing up my box to approve and so on. So it is going to be a little bit slower. You should just kind of keep that in mind. One of the things that I didn't show, I probably should have, but I was like just so excited that it was in profit there, is how to set your take profit and stop losses. Okay, so there's 2 ways of doing that. One is you can do it right here when you go to open the trade. So let's say I was going to open another long. Actually, let's do another little TA bit here. So look, we went right through that 50 EMA and bounced above it and holding support above it. So, yeah, that's not enough for me to take along there. But we could, if you wanted to, you could set your stop loss right here. Now, I will say there's I think been a couple, like in the private beta, there's been a couple quirks with using this take profit and stop loss that's right here. So you may not want to use this right out of the gate. However, they are. I know they're pushing like updates, especially before the public launch. So maybe it's fixed now. Um, but I don't know. I haven't been using them because it's just as easy to set them after you open the trade. And there were just issues doing this. But at some point, this will work fine, and maybe it's now. But you can click stop loss, and basically you pick like like this. So let's say I'm going to do 100 again at this. Now you notice like the numbers are changing here, and that's like a little discombobulating. But once like if you know, like let's say I want my stop loss to be right here at 59,930. Once you actually put 59, sorry, 50, what did I say? 59,930. Once you put a number in there, it'll stop moving on you. Like it'll stay. Now, the amount of BTC that represents, of course, is moving because the price is changing. But once you put a number here and for the USDC, then it actually, this is wrong. It's not USDC. Well, yeah, I guess the price for this asset is denoted in USD. So true enough. It's a little confusing though, because it's different than USDC. So like, this is the price that will get triggered, and once it gets triggered, it'll do that. You can also, if you have an open trade, I do have an open one down here. Now it's only down $10, so I guess I could switch to that one. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Oh, we just popped back up. So now it's down 35. Um, but you notice with this trade I have here, I'm almost back at my entry, looking for to dump down quite a bit. I have my liquidation up here. If I wanted to set a stop loss, like I said, like maybe right here, you could just click this add button, put the amount in you want, and then set up the trigger price. And it's smart enough to know that if you enter a trigger, like in this case, I'm in a short. So if I put a trigger price in that's above price, then that's a stop loss. If I put a price in that's lower than current price, then it knows that that's a target or a take profit. And vice versa if I had a long open. So it knows like whether to be above or below. There's no way you can mess that up. So you can put that in there, and then it will add that stop loss in for you. Okay, or TP. Okay. So that is that. Now that I'm flipped over here to my other account, I guess I can go back here to the dashboard. You see I'm in the middle of a silver. This collateral is not accurate because I've got collateral tied up in the trade that I currently have, but I can tell you that I think I'm at about 2,300. Actually 2,336 because I have $500 in collateral in this trade. It looks like I'm 9 out of 15 days into the challenge. I do need to open a trade here. Now my new day just started 2 hours ago. But I'm almost to 16. So that's what a dashboard looks like once you are qualified. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and switch back to my other one now. Well, actually, I think we're probably done looking at this. All right. Some other things that I wanted to do. I wanted to talk about blockchain and verification because I mentioned that you were able to like see everything on the blockchain. Um, if we looked at this is my account, I think. Hold on. BA6. Yep, that's this one. So this is this account. This one that ends in BA6. Um, this is my trader account. So if we look at like what it does, notice I've run these different things on here. Let me actually refresh this. Okay, so here I can see this is where I close my position. That's where I open the position. Here's where I funded my account. Okay, if we look at this transaction, you can see that it this is where I sent $400 or 400 USDC to this thing. So what is this thing? This is my trader account that was created. So it's a smart contract that's only usable by my wallet. Okay, if I open that up, we take a look inside here, we can notice there's that fund account. Here is actually the create or the open trade and the close trade that happened 14 and 7 minutes ago. And you notice that it's holding though that 403 now because I won 403 USDC in this smart contract. Okay, notice no ETH in here because this smart contract doesn't actually pay for any transactions. That's all paid by my regular wallet that gets approved there. But I just wanted to show you that it actually has that that value in there. I also have another wallet open here, and I just went in and picked out one that from the blockchain I saw had been granted silver. So this is a funded account. It's not my funded account. I don't know. I just was kind of felt weird about showing my account, even though I just didn't want to dox my account. But there aren't that many of us out there. There's like maybe 6 or 7. So you know one of those 7 is mine. So I just picked one of them, other ones at random. Sorry if this is your wallet, but no one will know that it's your wallet. So whatever. And what I wanted to point out here is that 40 hours ago when they had this fund account, well, actually, let's talk about this. So 40 hours ago, this user finished their qualification round. And when they finished their qualification round, they called a withdraw. And if we look at this transaction, they withdrew 474 USDC from their trader account, which means that was, obviously they probably put 400 in to begin with. And remember, their target was 460. They actually made a little extra. So they made 474 and they took 100% of that out. Okay, so this was sent back to their own wallet. And then right after they did that withdrawal, this withdrawal is just like a ghost. It's, if we look at it, it's zero value. Then they did the next fund account. And this account was funded with 2,000 USDC, but it was not funded from their wallet. This is funded from the Foxify funded vault contract. Okay, this guy out here. Okay, which remember that, actually that's USDC, that's this one. So remember that currently this is still in private beta. So they haven't like fully like loaded this up, because notice right now it's down to 5,000 tokens that it's holding just to do nothing for like waiting for the next person to actually qualifies, which is probably, I mean, there's only been, like I said, like 6 or 7 people in the last 2 weeks that have gotten funded, because the qualification rounds are 7 days long and then silvers are 15 days long. So there's no reason for them to keep a bunch of money in here yet. But I imagine that once they get to tomorrow and it's publicly available to everyone, they'll have to do this, because if they don't, then when people go to actually say, okay, fund me, each one of those people that qualifies is going to need $2,000 to come out of here and get sent to the different contracts. Okay, and so they're being funded by the Foxify Ops wallet there. All right, so I bring all this blockchain stuff up. Not it's confusing. You don't really need to know any of this to use the platform. I bring it up just to as a proof for those of you that sometimes you don't want to do this yourself, but also you shouldn't just take Foxify's word for it. You go and verify that everything that they say is there, and I have done that, and I can say that that is true. And you can go and check yourself as well if you would like. And I think that's like one of the huge value propositions that makes this completely different than all the other prop firms that I've traded and used, where they are basically just using sim money, knowing that you're going to probably lose, um, and so they don't have to worry about placing real trades. Okay, these are actually real trades where you're placing them on the exact same platform that they are using for all other trades. And it one thing I didn't mention earlier when I was talking about the perp platform is that it is important to also note that while you are trading against their PLP, so that's your counterparty, they do not have control over the price feed. The price feed comes from Pith, which you can hook up. I meant to mention that here, but this price feed, it's not showing it there. This is actually Pith colon BTC USD. This is the Oracle that they're using, and you can pull it up in TradingView just the same. And so and I know they do like extra verifications with Chainlink, just because if there was ever a problem with Pith, like someone was attacking it or something like that, then they would have another kind of checkpoint where like they're not allowed to vary by more than a percentage. Otherwise, it just assumes that one or the other one is under attack, and that it should like shut it down and not open any trades for anybody. So they don't have control over the price feed, therefore it makes it fair. Okay, where they're not manipulating the price, such as like what a broker does when they tell you that they're trading forex for you, where it's why none of their numbers ever match up with any other numbers that you find out there. It's a little different with futures, because like if you're trading CME futures, everyone uses that same price feed from CME, but forex is not like that at all. Okay, so the last thing I want to cover here is how to get started and where to go. So let me go back to our browser here. As I mentioned here, if you go to foxify.trade, that's their main website. You could read about things here. I highly recommend that you join their Discord group just to get additional news and information, and just an entire community of people willing to help you. And the easiest way to get to that, I think they have it linked somewhere. If I just can't remember where. I've been a member of it for it's right here, so long that I never had to look it up on their website. So right here under community, go to Discord. They also have a Telegram group. I hate Telegram, so I'm not going to tell you to go there, but if that's your thing, then go for it. They have one of those, and they have the Twitter account. So pick your choice there. My favorite would be Discord. If you want to find myself and some other traders, we have a community, and we'd love to have you over. Let's see here. Right there. If you go to kickstudios.com/apex, that will take you to the Discord invite for our community, and you can find me on there. I'm the at kick with the brackets around it. And let's see, I think that kind of covers everything I wanted to talk about today. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope everything kind of leads you to understanding what the opportunity is here. This is basically, I don't know why you would trade. If you're going to trade Bitcoin on a DEX, you might as well pick Foxify to do it, because I mean their fees are a little higher than you would find on a centralized exchange, but they're like right in line with most DEXs. So if you want to trade on the DEX, where you don't have to do KYC and you don't have to like have someone else custody your money and worry about them crashing like FTX or doing other funny business, trading against you with their market makers and their order books and stuff. If you just want to have that experience, you might as well trade with Foxify, because if you trade with any of the other platforms, you could win or you could lose. If you come to Foxify, you could win or you could lose. But if you win and you get funded with additional money to use to trade even more, you get 80% of that profit. So yeah, you might as well. And there's also, I know, going to be lots of prizes and challenges and different things, all of which will probably be announced tomorrow during their launch party. Whenever, I don't know when you're seeing this, but if it's prior to Friday, August 9th, definitely pop by the Discord for their launch party. And I'm sure there'll be lots of free giveaways and goodies. Yep. So that's all I have. Go ahead and give this video a like and subscribe if you'd like more content of this sort. I do lots of content, mostly surrounding different ways of trading. And you'll probably actually see a few here on the end cards. So click one of those if you'd like. And you guys have a good day. Trade well.